So, as Dan Woodley just pointed out in the chat, is it Tuesday again? Well, the thumbnail says Tuesday at noon. I changed the time, I didn't change the day. So, here we are on a Wednesday, and it's just us, me and you.
Hey, every day's Taco Tuesday.
There you go. So, we're good. We're
Yeah.
having a show today. Jody is indisposed, so is Nathan. It's you and I. And what are we talking about right off the bat?
North versus South California super matches.
Okay. Is North versus South 2 because North versus South 1 was Billy's event?
No. No. No, these-
Just to clear that up, man, because it crossed my
no.
mind. I'm like, when was North versus South 1? I was like, oh, yeah, it was in Steinbach.
No, this is something the northern guys have been putting on in Cali, doing like some rival matches against the guys in the south. This is such a big state. And it's actually turning out to be really good. Last year, I think they had like 20 or some odd super matches with like 2 round robins. And this year they're having like 40 super matches and an 18-person round robin.
So, who are the big ones?
So I just know who's a part of it. I can't remember who's pulling who, but like Tom Nelson is pulling somebody.
Yeah, I saw that.
Megan Mike's pulling somebody. Um, there's so many. There's a lot. Um, and I think like Scott Wynn's going to be over there as well. But me and John Bellick are wrecking it. We come in Saturday morning. It starts at noon in Bakersfield. They're anticipating that thing being done by 5 o'clock.
Okay. So, I type in North versus South 2, and the first thing that comes up,
What's that?
the golden ticket.
The golden ticket.
The golden ticket.
I wonder if I could. I don't
Okay.
think I could try.
We have, I got the match that I was curious about. And Dan, Warren, Justin, Ryan, how are you guys doing? It was Tom Nelson versus Mega Mike right-handed.
Right. It's
What do you
interesting.
what do you think of that match? Because Tom has
I'm.
always been a predominant left-hand arm wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to ever count Tom out because Tom, the Jordan Sills, you don't know which version's gonna show up, right? So but you see what Mega Mike's been doing lately. It's kind of hard to count Mega Mike out too. I mean, he's pretty much sweeping everything he touches.
I struggle to think, with all due respect to Tom, I struggle to imagine a scenario where Tom Nelson can win this match right-handed.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's a tall order. I
You
thought
know,
they were pulling left-handed. But I don't know why.
if it was left-handed, maybe Tom's even the favorite.
Yeah,
But right-handed, that's a tough one, man. That is
yeah,
a tough one. And then
yeah.
we got,
Ugh.
I don't know. I don't know how it unfolds.
Yeah,
And then we got Scott Wynn versus Mike McGraw. Holy cow.
oh yeah, yeah. I remember that one. Yep.
Mike McGraw, I haven't seen arm wrestle in a long time.
But man, he still practice. I think he still holds practice every week at his house. I think that's got to be one of the longest standing practices in America. I
Hmm.
mean, it's been around a long time.
All right. So, do you know any of the other notable matches in this one or who's involved? Is Derek
Man,
Smith involved in this at all?
no, not that I know
Contract, California guy?
of. Yeah. I wonder, can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Let's see if
Can't
I
see
can
it, but I can hear you.
pull this up here.
In the meantime, I want to touch base while you're pulling that up there. Let's talk about the Arnold qualifiers because a number of those are starting. You're holding one. I'm holding one. Mine is on December the 7th, and I haven't 100% confirmed a venue, but I'm like 95% of the way. It's going to be in Headingley, Manitoba, which is just on the outskirts of Winnipeg and relatively close to the airport.
It's not bad. Yeah, well, my second one is the 14th in Washington State.
You mean your second one? You're holding two of them?
I'm holding three of them.
Three of them.
Yep. We're doing one in Arizona, one in Colorado with Corey Miller together, and then we're doing the Washington State.
Okay.
I think it's got some matches here.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know these guys.
Well, I mean, if these are more localized guys, it wouldn't be a big deal. Yeah.
Let's see here. So this round robin, it looks like it's round one, 2 tables, single pin matches, 27 matches. And then round 2 is 2 tables, best of 3 until 4 competitors are left. Finals, 1 table, best of 5, belt to the winner. That's pretty interesting.
That is pretty interesting.
3 foul system, no warnings, set grip, close your thumbs, close your hands, ready, go. Position gain fouls only, 20 seconds rest between matches. Let's go.
Let's go.
They're not messing around.
Fast and Furious, and you are reffing.
Yeah. Well, this is the Grizzly, the guy who does that slap fighting, Casey. He's pulling Travis Desmere. Looks like 2 giants.
Never heard of them.
Well, there's a girl versus a guy match.
What?
Brandon Elsner versus Grace Bear. Interesting. Well, Paul Stevens is a part of it. Old Man Arm Wrestling, Dan Wardlaw versus Don Mornman. They've been around forever. These two actually just battled it out and had like one of the matches of the day at the World Series in Riverside.
Okay. Where's your camera, Tim?
I'm right here.
There you are.
I've just been reading.
You're reading off the matches. That's fine. Should we get into a couple of these matches coming up at the East versus West card that's coming on August the 10th?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw one that I'm very curious what your thoughts are.
Well, I'm reffing, so I'll give you minimal thoughts.
Oh, man.
I just saw the ref list that came out. I don't know if you saw when I posted it in the chat.
I did.
That's different than what I thought it was going to be.
Who did you think it was going to be?
Well, I thought Oleg's would be a part of it being over here. But he's not. And interesting to see Bart Wood in it. That's awesome. I mean, he hasn't
pretty interesting. Like I don't know that with the exception of the MAC event, I don't think I've seen Bart really referee outside WAL.
Right. I mean, he did the East versus West finals 2 years ago in West Virginia. But yeah, it's really nice to see some of these guys on the big stage and see how they do.
What do you think of Michael Todd going back up to super heavyweight?
I don't really like it. I don't know why. I don't know why he needs to. I mean, he's big into the getting fit and feeling better, but still being huge. But I know that when you go to that heavyweight class, you got to go. You can't just go up a couple pounds. I mean, you're talking you got to gain like 20, 30 pounds, right? Like,
well, he's going against Camille.
Yeah.
Which is a tall order, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how that match is going to go down. I mean, it'll all come down to if Michael can stop him or not.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what everybody wants to see happen. Everybody wants to
What
see.
do they? Hey,
I want to see the 10-minute match. I mean, why not? I mean, it's always fun to me.
yeah, I just get the feeling we're not going to.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
It's
But I mean, what's Camille? Gosh, she's got to be almost 300 pounds, right?
he's getting bigger, man. He's getting bigger all the
And,
time.
and he's tall too, right? Super tall.
6'3" ish, probably 6'4". Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was taller than that. I saw when I stood next to him in Vegas. I felt like a midget.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought he was taller. What are you, 6'4"?
Yeah.
See, I thought he was just right up there with you.
He's close to the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a big guy. Cody Merritt's in the
yeah,
chat.
yeah. It's a
Cody and
big.
I will be on the same card here right away.
Yeah, you guys are doing that one in Toronto, right?
We are, and he's pulling Pavlo. I'm pulling Meadow Orangi, and then Meadow Orangi is going 1 week later to Knuckles Up and pulling against uh, Toshi. So he's
Damn. All right-handed?
no left-handed against me, and then right-handed at Knuckles Up.
Oh, okay.
So that
Okay.
would be
I don't think I've ever seen him pull left-handed.
Meadow Orangi.
Yeah,
He's pulled against I think Mindaugas at Arm Wars.
I didn't see it.
And he won the first match and then lost all the rest.
Hmm. I
Huh.
mean, I remember he pulled him right-handed at Arm Gods.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure it was Arm Wars. They did a left-handed match.
Yeah,
Phil
interesting.
Woody says, "Did Michael surprise you in his win against Lars in the manner he did?" Um, did the win surprise me? No. In the manner that he did, yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah. It was. I didn't expect it to be that dominant.
No, I had Lars with a couple wins. I remember.
Now I'm not. I'm not 100% sure that I would have um, given Lars any wins as a prediction, but I thought it was going to be a long bleeding out type of match. But no, it wasn't at all.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know sometimes Lars could be really fast with that press. I really thought he would be able to get a win or two on a quick press. Um, because Michael was, well, he was fast that day. He was fast. He was
Yeah,
faster than I thought he was going to be that day, and that's what killed those wins. I mean, everything was Michael's way that day.
yeah, yeah. And you can't really talk about East versus West, eh? So what the hell are we going to talk about today, Tim?
I mean, we can talk about the tournament on Friday. That should be pretty huge, I think.
Which one's that?
The East versus West tournament is held Friday all day long, and then the winners get their award. The first place winners get their awards Saturday on the main stage.
How did I not know there was a tournament on the Friday for East
Yeah, so
versus
and
West?
I think that like if you win it, I think you get like a potential match or like you might get a Challenger Series match or an East versus West match. I think there's some stuff on the line here because I know Mario from Australia might be coming out and meeting me, and he might be pulling in it just to see what happens. He might just come for the weekend.
Mario's good enough to really do something in that tournament.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he would have to pull. He would have to pull the 231. I don't think he can pull 209.
You don't think he can make it to 209?
I don't think so at this shorter notice. I don't know what he's walking around at right now either. I mean, after he lost all that weight for Knuckles Up, he was staying pretty true by only gaining like 7 pounds back and trying to stay down and feel really strong at that weight at like 222. So I mean, if he is right there, I mean, yeah, he might be able to do the 209. If he does the 209, man, that could change a lot of things up.
Yeah, yeah.
But
There's
yeah,
him. Do we know who else might be showing up for that tournament?
I would imagine a lot of people are going to be there. A lot. I don't know who, but um,
But none of the people that are already guaranteed a spot or have pulled are under a contract. So who does that leave? Let's talk super heavyweights. Would a guy like Passmore already be there because he won at?
yeah, I
Yeah,
think he already has a spot. But I mean, I guess that opens the doors for Mega Mike,
Mega Mike,
uh,
maybe Wayne Withers.
Wayne Withers, BJ Bikakis, um, Shane. Who was it? There's a couple other guys over there. Paul Cruz, maybe.
Paul Cruz. Yeah,
Paul Cruz. Um,
is he going
maybe
for sure?
I don't know. I'm saying these guys could come
Yeah,
out of the woodworks. I would imagine if there's something on the line. I can't remember if there is or not. I would imagine there would be. Um, but I don't know. I haven't seen much about it.
no, neither have I. That's why this is kind of the first thing I'm hearing about, or first time I'm hearing of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I was planning on coming in like Friday morning, and I got told I got to be there Thursday because Friday we're doing the tournament, and then the press conference at night, and then or press conference then a tournament. I don't know how that's going to work out because the press conference has to be early because of the times, right? So this thing starts at 1 o'clock Eastern.
and pay per view as usual, I assume.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is the same start time as it would be in Turkey. Um, so I think the press conference has to start at 1 too. So I don't know if they're doing the press conference at the same time we're running the tournament
maybe.
in different rooms or something. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows? I'm
but
putting
yeah,
all. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
that's intriguing, man. Like if I knew about this sooner, I might have considered jumping in there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's. I know they announced the tournament a while ago, but I don't even know if I've seen the tournament details as far as start time, weigh-in times, awards, anything like that. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and search for it. But I know it's not. I I don't think it's actively being posted weekly. Um, but I have to go check.
Now I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit here because I saw my old partner, my old broadcast partner, is
Oh
back
yeah.
is back on YouTube.
Oh boy, I heard about this.
um, Gobby is back,
Oh boy,
and it's that Darren Bills. Is that the guy? That's his partner.
Darren Bills. Darren Bills is out of Michigan.
Yeah, I think that's the guy. Like
Uh,
he's a legit guy in his. Well, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to kill the
I,
volume on it right away here, but it's
I beat Darren Bills at the Monster Factory for the number 8 spot in North America.
yeah, it's called the Spartacus Project Podcast,
Okay.
and they, in true form, basically start off trolling right from episode number one.
Well, wouldn't expect anything less.
And episode number two, they go into the top 10 betas in arm wrestling.
Oh
So
wow.
here we are. Everyone's going to leave. Go have a
Wow.
look at it right now. But, I'm glad. I wish Chris nothing but well, and hopefully they have a great podcast. Dan Woodley, that's funny. Um, I don't think there's if you see Devin on an upcoming episode of that podcast, it's because he rappelled in from the ceiling behind Goppy.
Yeah.
Speaking of Devin, rumor has it he's in Winnipeg and he's going to practice tonight with the Winnipeg club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're in Winnipeg, go check it
Did
out.
I think I just saw a thing on his channel that he was just fishing with Donald Trump Jr.
What?
Yeah, the day before Donald Trump got shot.
Devin.
Yeah, and they cut the fishing trip short because he had to go see his dad.
That's crazy to me. How?
It's what
Why would that happen? How would that even happen?
it's with those guys down. You remember when he did that fishing thing with those monster fish with Juju back in the day?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's those same guys down there in Florida.
Okay. So they kind of have their own thing going on.
Yeah, so that those fishing guys are like pretty well known, famous, and they went on it with Juju back in the day, and then obviously they all live in southern Florida, Donald Trump Jr. and stuff down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a little fishing trip and stuff like that. Arm wrestling. It was right on the boat. It was pretty interesting.
Well, I didn't see that. Maybe I'll go check that out because
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that conversation looked like.
Yeah.
I'd have
Yeah.
to see it in person. What else you got to going on, Tim? As you can
Well,
imagine, my day's a little bit hectic.
yeah, no, I mean, shit. Every time I try to slow down, I'm always doing something. I think I'm gone and every weekend again till September like 14th or 20th. No, I'm gone every weekend. So going to North versus South this weekend. Then we head over to Jacksonville, North Carolina for the World Series. And then August 3rd is my Arnold qualifier in Scottsdale. Then the 10th, I'm in Florida for East versus West. The 17th is the World Series of Arm Wrestling in Utah. The 21st, I'm reffing the Don Underwood Travis Bajent match in Kansas City on a Wednesday night. That should be interesting. And then, yeah, then I have like 2 weeks off, and then I'm at it again.
Okay. The Don Underwood Travis Bajent match.
Yeah, they're doing a little. So Travis's son is playing Thursday night football against the Chiefs. So they're running a tournament on Wednesday night in Kansas City, and then like they're supposed to be pulling. His son's going to be there with a couple other football players. It's a little fundraiser type thing.
Okay. Fundraiser for Travis.
Or his son.
I don't think the son. I don't think the son needs to worry about raising funds. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
What got released today? Didn't something get released on for September 28th in San Diego today?
yeah, it did. Um,
That's
I
interesting.
wasn't, I wasn't sure if we were allowed to talk about it yet.
I mean, they released it, right?
Okay. Which match you want to talk about first?
I only saw one match. I didn't see the other matches. I'm curious.
Oh, okay.
I only saw the ones that we got told on the chat.
I only have that one too. Okay, it is released. Never mind. I'm looking at this right now. We're talking about our very own, and he's watching. He just told us he's watching.
Oh, there you go.
Jody, Chocolate Thunder, Williams versus Mega Mike, left-handed. Chat, chime in. I want to hear your opinions on this one.
Yeah, I mean that's that's awesome. I mean, that could be a very good match. I know Jody's been training hard and looking good on that left.
I do not know what Mega Mike's left arm looks like. Um,
It's strong, but he's slow. That's the problem. Is he's always in the defensive position when it comes to the left. So with Jody being fast, I mean, I think Jody could take full hand control quick, and then and then it's about finishing. That's the key with Megan Mike, because he's so freaking strong, but he's not fast at all.
Mm.
So it could be flash matches, or like I said, Jody has to get to his position first and not the win first. That's the biggest key, I think, for that match.
Phil, Jody got called into work. Yeah, I think so too. I think he needs to find a position quickly that he
Mhm.
cannot get pulled out of. So
Right.
all the little things like getting a nice hand control, pushing his elbow forward, blocking with his shoulder a little bit and bleeding him out. And if he can win that first round that way, who knows?
Mhm.
Maybe the first round's a flash pin. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's I'm happy Greg Sharp's doing that, because we've always done the Daytona Bike Week. That's always been a tournament every year. Um, that's been a lot of fun. It always attracts big crowds with the bikers and all the vendors and people walking around, and when Greg Sharp was telling me about it, with the Harley being involved and wanting him to put on a couple bike week shows, I think that could really broaden up arm wrestling even more than it already is, just from that scene that bikers. That's hundreds of thousands of them go to bike week, no matter which bike week it is. There's always so many of them, and I think he's doing a biker class. I think he's doing a military class. So I mean, I think it could be really good.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I think Greg's on the right path here. We've got so many good promoters doing things across North America. Dan Woodley says, didn't Mega Mike face Leonidas on the left?
I'm sure he did at some point. Leonidas was, um, if I remember right, they faced off at the Olympia. I think it was, where Leonidas was just walking around. Actually, I think Michael Todd was there as well, and Larry, and him and Larry did like a right-handed take your shirt off little promo match on stage at Mr. Olympia, and then Leonidas jumped into the left-handed tournament, and I think him and Mega Mike pulled, because that's what originally set up the Leonidas Larry matches, was the video that they did at Olympia. I want to say 2 years ago. It was in
Okay.
Vegas. It was in Vegas.
Well, okay. Now we got Leonidas going against some stiffer competition right away here.
Yeah. Was he pulling John?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's he's looking strong. I don't know.
Well,
Strong for Zeke though.
it's gonna number zinc though, and he's gonna have to be more than really strong.
Yeah.
I think with okay, put it this way: if you put John Brzenk against Schoolboy, who would you take in that match?
I would never bet against John against Levon. I would still put John as the winner. I would never bet against John.
Just out of principle, or because you think he's actually going to beat everybody?
I don't think that there's not a match that he doesn't have a chance. I with how much knowledge he has, and strength obviously goes so far, but I would still never count him out of any match ever, just for the tricks and shit that he can do.
Hmm. Well, there's one match I would count him out of, and that's if he went against Levon.
Yeah, I
I,
still wouldn't.
I
I
would,
still
I
wouldn't.
would, I would. I'd say there's just too much there. I'm not sure there's a version of John that could beat the current version of Levon.
Yeah, I mean it's God, maybe even if it's a 1% chance, but still. You imagine if you got him in that one position and bled him out?
Yeah, well, with Levon, I mean, thanks, Clifton. Um, it's that would be interesting. I think if anyone had a chance of bleeding out Levon, it was Devin in match number one, and I almost feel like Devin surprised himself that he was able to, get a stop right there on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Levon still found a way to win.
Did you watch that little after poll at the last East versus West?
Nope.
So when he actually gets to a full Kings move and a slow pull, that Levon wasn't pinning him.
That was him and Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the rumor I heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, is that they want to have another match, but they want to have it. Devin wants it. No rules for the King move.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I heard. No rules for the King's move.
Okay, I want to play just a little bit of devil's advocate here because do you think that uh, Devin can get to the point where his body is equal to what it was at his very best against Levon, and then do the King's move as well? If he shows up like that and there's no rules for the King's move, maybe Devin can get him. But Devin is also, is he 50 now? 49?
He's got to be 50 almost.
I thought we were relatively close. I think he's 49, maybe turning 50 right away. And
he will never go to that weight again. But I get it. It's practice pulls, and I get it. All that shit. But just watching him get on that little slow pull, I don't know if he has to go to that weight to bleed him out.
I suppose. But
Yeah.
Phil Woody makes a point. That was after Levon pinned Devin half a dozen times.
Yep.
So,
Like I said, it doesn't really mean anything, but it still sparks the interest.
Devin would have to get right under that table and full on King's move. It might be the end of Devin's arm wrestling career.
His arm might just completely come off.
He would sacrifice it.
Yeah.
We would.
Yeah.
But maybe. But I don't want to see the rules changed to give a guy a win either.
So if you had to pick one guy on this planet to be at their peak form that maybe they were at one point currently to be at their peak form, who do you think could beat Levon? And I don't mean like Devin in his prime or John in his prime. I mean like who can
I
get to a
know. Who
point
would
with
be
their
the
body.
guy? I have two.
So do I.
Probably going to surprise you. But I will say this:
We'll go one for one. We'll go one
when
for
we
one.
talk about Devin in his prime, I think Devin's best years were probably within the last 2 to 10 years from in history. We're not talking about him being 30 and in his prime.
No.
We're talking about him being in his 40s and in his prime. I don't think he's that far removed. And maybe by choice, he could be back in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like who currently right now can get to a peak form to beat him, like today?
Oh, you're not talking throughout history.
No, like who's an active arm wrestler that can get to a peak to beat him? Who can get that level? I have two guys.
So do I, based on age and just physical structure. My first guy, and it's been said in the chat already, is Kurdecha.
Okay. My first guy would be Morozov.
You know what? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that he is compromised with already coming down with some illnesses based on, some of the things he's doing.
Yeah, but I mean, like with his age, so like if he could get to a peak form at his age, I think that he could overcome Levon.
And I don't think he can get there.
The number one guy, I think they can do it. and I hope he tries to go for it again, is Hermes.
I was going to say that as well.
Yeah.
That was my number 2. Now,
Yeah.
if you were to take any arm wrestler throughout history that I think if they were at their peak, they might be able to do it, I have 2.
Mm. Yeah.
Richard Lupke's
Yeah.
and Scott Norton.
No Cleve Dean?
I thought Cleve was always naturally strong, but let's face it, with all due respect to Cleve and everyone watching, he does not strike me as a guy that ever went out and trained his ass off.
Right. Yeah.
He was a huge guy, like some say upwards of like nearly 600 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a guy that just goes out and he's in the gym every day grinding.
Right. Yeah.
He's there because of his gifts that he had, not because he honed his skills to a certain level.
How tall was he too? He was really tall too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 6'2" or something like that? Maybe
Yeah.
taller? Yeah, that's a big boy.
And
Yeah,
Norton
Richard Lupke's though, that would have been if he would have kept going.
kept going. I mean, geez, I mean, the guy was still killing people in the 60s.
Yeah.
And he might, I wouldn't be surprised to see him back again.
Well, he was supposed to come back. I was really looking forward to it, but obviously all the tournament events happened, which is understandable. But
Yeah.
man, yeah, that would have been. I think that if he would have done that little comeback match, that would have really sparked him to do some stuff.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, I believe he's still just a giant and looks jacked.
Oh, probably. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy is incredible. Yeah, Marco, I agree with you. If Richard actually did table training
Yeah.
and learned some stuff, he would have been awesome. Dan says Cleve was 6'7", 480.
6'7". Damn. I
6'7",
remember people
480.
talking about he peaked at like 600 though.
I heard he went up to that.
Yeah.
At Over the Top, I heard he was really, really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Norton beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And John squeaked his way into the trucker division.
Right. Oh, let's see here. Brian Shaw, 3 years, 4 years, hard training. What can he do? Anything?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, he can probably win a national title.
Nothing great.
No. No. He can go probably as far as nationals.
Yeah.
He's too young in the sport. He's too old. He's too too much of a late start. Probably isn't driven enough. What does a guy like that need from the sport of arm wrestling to incentivize himself to do some stuff?
Right.
Because he's not going to quit everything else he's doing and dedicate himself to arm wrestling.
Right.
He's just not. What would be the upside? I mean, sure, it's cool to have some content, pulling Devin Larratt, pulling, Magnus Samuelson, who, hasn't won anything in 20 years in arm wrestling. They might have a grudge match, but it's going to be the same level as Half Thor and Eddie Hall boxing. That would be the level that translates over to arm wrestling from those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to ever envision them fighting for the world heavyweight title.
Right.
Just like you're not going to ever see them arm wrestle for, the number one in the world against Levon. I just don't think that's a possibility. And Brian Shaw is the most consistent and possibly the greatest strongman that ever walked the planet. But he slowed down later in his later years. Like, he wasn't a threat to win it anymore. He was consistently in the final. I don't know if he made it this last time around to the final 10.
I don't know if he did or not.
but he's been consistently good. But I think he officially hung it up now.
I think so too.
If he's gonna make arm wrestling a hobby, great. I don't think he's gonna have a second career as an elite arm wrestler. But maybe he'll prove me wrong. I just can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be fun to watch, but I agree. I don't think that he will be at that level. I believe that everybody, well, I won't say everybody, but a lot of people want to see him on an East versus West stage just because of his name and it draws numbers, um, along with other people that are already there. Um, but I mean, if you could put him against an actual arm wrestler and it could actually be a match, it's still going to be fun to watch just because it's somebody different that we know that's accomplished so much in a different sport. Um,
Yeah,
I
he's a
think,
crossover guy like Larry Wheels.
yeah. So I think it'd be cool to see what he can do at his age and coming from where he came from.
King of the Table would probably have a spot for him.
Yeah.
They tend to like those kind of matches.
Hmm. Yeah. A lot of them. A lot of them.
I think it would be entertaining. It would definitely. I'd tune in and watch for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Who do you put him against though? I mean, you got to find somebody that has a big enough name that's not going to kill him. But hopefully, it's not going to be, you know, a setup match like
Well,
a
you would think.
like a yellow versus Juji.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have to be like a Larry, uh Leonidas, Schoolboy.
Here's my issue. I think all those guys that you just named are too good for him right now.
Right, I agree right now,
Yeah,
but could it be a match in a year? Maybe,
absolutely. Yeah,
maybe, and it will draw the numbers that they
yeah.
want.
Big Laws. Yeah, Big Laws would be a good guy for him. Mendogas is too strong, I think, Dan. Big Laws is actually trains in arm wrestling a little bit. Um, that'd be a cool match.
You know who I've been wanting to see come back out, and I don't know, maybe he already has, or maybe he's not. I don't know. Where's Sean Latimer?
I see him on social media once in a while pop up, but I haven't heard of him arm wrestling in a long time.
I've been waiting for him and Nick Zena to come back out.
Whew, there's a name from the past too.
I'm like, it's only a matter of time before they have to come back out for something, right? Or are they just done?
I don't know, man. I mean, Latimer was always a left-handed guy. Um, Zina had what was it? One of his last matches was did he pull after he pulled Matt Mask at World Arm Wrestling League?
Um, thought for some reason I thought he pulled Chance Shaw somewhere.
It's possible.
I think him and Chance Shaw pulled somewhere, maybe in like Kansas City or something like that.
Hmm, possibly.
Because there was that the last time I remember seeing him, if I remember right, was when Chance beat everybody in Kansas City. That's when he first beat Ron Bass. And it was like when Travis did it, it was a Brian Corner tournament, went to like midnight. There was like 28 guys in the super heavyweight class, and I think him and Chance were in the finals.
Hmm.
Maybe back in 2000, man, I think it was right during COVID, right before COVID, 2019 is when that match happened, I think.
Hmm.
I don't remember seeing him at all, but I'm just thinking that talking about shaking some stuff up, maybe. I think if they get him back right now, it would be it'd be cool to watch.
Uh, question from the chat, and I asked this to the High Five guys, and they really didn't have an answer for me. Is whatever happened to Mike Celiaris?
You know, I just talked to Mike not too long ago. I invited him out as a guest to Arizona State, and he did tell me he's back to training, but he's not ready. So that tells me he's making a comeback. But knowing Mike, it's a solid year at least training before anybody even sees his face, because he's not coming out unless he's ready to come out. So I believe that
He's not going to pull a Travis.
no, that's no. If he's coming out, he's coming out to take shit over. Um, and man, that would be fun to see him on the East versus West stage. Um, and I think that he can pull that 89 class, that 86 kg class. But man, yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be pretty interesting to see some of those guys come back. Oh man, there's a lot of those guys that pulled. Just go back to the UAL 8 where they gave that car away. That was right after the Game of Arms show had kind of ended.
Yep.
Season 1. There were so many guys that pulled in that tournament that just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Do you remember Mac Telly?
Yeah, I just talked to Mac 2 weeks ago.
What happened to that guy?
He's still doing stuff. He moved to somewhere else in Cali. I think he has a really, really big podcast, like hundreds of thousands of followers. Like he does it full time.
On what? What subject?
I don't know. I'll have to find out to shoot him a message. But I heard that's what he's doing. I was talking to Bill about it as well, and I heard he's doing great.
I would love to hear what he's up to, especially if he's got that kind of a podcast following, because hundreds of thousands. That's
Yeah, I heard he has a pretty huge show. I don't remember what it's about either. I'll have to figure it out. I'll figure it out in the next show. I'll write it down and we'll talk about it.
maybe we don't want to know.
Yeah, for something, because I know he's a trucker for years.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's like some trucker show or some trucker comedy or something. I don't know.
we speaking of truckers, I had 3 practices in the last 8 days.
Jeez.
So Tuesday, and then on I think it was Friday, we ripped into Brandon because Mike Gould was there.
Man, he's looking thin and huge still.
He's looking thin and in good shape.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guys going from Canada to the guys and girls going to the IFA Worlds.
Oh, okay.
In Greece. Oh my God, we got a Trump supporter in the chat.
Yeah. Good for you.
Good for you. Yeah. So we did all that practicing. Half the guys in the chat were at the practice yesterday, and it was a big one. I think there was 20 guys there.
You know who I actually saw at a tournament not long ago was Storm Cholino. He's starting to pull.
Really?
Yeah, he pulled in West Virginia.
Wow. Okay. Storm, wasn't he the WAL champ for a time?
Yeah, I think he won both. I think he won both hammers at one point at 95.
Man. I miss the big monster tournaments like that with there's 3,000 people show up. And
yeah.
You remember back? Were you at the first big WAL event? The
2014 or 15?
The one that they held at the UNLV.
Yeah, the Cox Pavilion.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it because that was the first year they fucked up and amateurs pulled pros. And there were 6 broken arms in one day.
I remember that. And wasn't the very first match of the whole tournament a broken arm?
Yes.
Yeah. And it wasn't the rookie. It was an experienced puller.
Yeah, I remember it vividly because I didn't know how to cut weight back then. And I was walking around at like 205 pounds and I couldn't make 95s. And I had to pull the 225s, and my first match was against John Brzing. And I was like, this is cool.
That's a good
I was obviously lost, but somehow I ran a bunch of the losing bracket and ended up taking 8th and still made in the money.
Yeah, that was wild. Like I think I got a third and a fifth or something, and I walked out of there with a few grand.
I'm pretty sure the guy who took first and second, I beat them both. That was Herman McCoy
Yeah,
and Brandon. I can never say it. It's Brandon Browden. Brandon, he's from Cali. Long hair, dark long hair guy.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
He has like two first names. I always fuck it up.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I
he
know
ended up
exactly who
he
you're
ended
talking
up
about.
taking first. But I remember leaving that tournament and they had shuttles for people. Like the shuttles kept showing up to take people. Somehow I ended up in a shuttle with all the super fucking heavyweight guys. It was like all the Mackin brothers, all those guys, and that thing was swaying. I thought that thing was going to tip over every time we took a turn. Like that thing was swaying so bad, but that was probably one of the best times we've ever had in Vegas was that tournament. Just so many Washington guys were there, and we all just hung out together. And I mean, everybody really hung out together. That was a really good one. And then, were you at the one when it was at the Orleans?
Yep, I was at that one as well.
That was probably one of my favorite ones. That was when make it noted that I beat RBJ left-handed.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
and now he's retired, sorta.
What are you talking about? That he's pulling it and
He
like,
is pulling Magda's event.
yeah. You know how many events are on that same day?
No,
Oh, at least 10.
10
And
events
not even low events. I'm talking 10 big events.
on the same day as Magda's. It's September 7th.
Yeah, it's like Magnus, um, the Battle Creek one where like John Thompson's pulling Paul Passmore left-handed, Artem's pulling Matt Mask left-handed.
Oh,
Um, there's a bunch of big ones at that tournament. Corey Miller's Colorado State with 400 plus entries is that same day. Um, there is another one in like New York that's big that day. The one in Florida is the super heavyweight North American Invitational round robin with beast mode. That's like $10,000 for first place. That's that same day.
wow.
There's a lot of big events that same day.
Uh, yeah, Artem versus Matt Mask.
You know, be
Joe
entertaining.
Nelson says made me look funny when I heard it. I guess I made a face too. I thought that was a weird. Like, if Matt is continuing to get better with his left, I think Artem's in for a long day.
Yeah.
Um,
Man,
Granny
there's
Two Plaidle says everyone freaking out over Trump getting his ear pierced last week.
too soon. No, there's a lot of other. I wish I could think of the other tournaments. I think there's a TAL that day. I mean, they're literally across the United States and North America. I want to say we counted like 10 tournaments that actually were pretty high caliber tournaments.
You think it'll impact the pay per view sales? Are any of them big pay per view events? Because Magda's is. Um,
I don't think any of them are big. I don't think so. I don't know. Not I wouldn't say big pay per view like Magnus. Not by any means,
maybe just a
uh,
live stream.
I would think the one in Florida's got to be pretty good with $10,000 on the line,
Yeah,
and
I would
that's
think
all
so.
super heavyweights. So
Hmm. Well, and Cody Merritt and Pavlo will not be there.
yeah.
They'll be up at in Toronto.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really wanted to go to that, but I always go to me and my wife and my son polls at Corey Miller's Colorado State every year. So unfortunate, but
huh.
one day I'll make it out to Toronto for one of her things.
Pretty soon. I don't know who she has refing. I heard. Well, maybe it's Canadian refs. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, every time that we've talked, we just talked not too long ago. Um, yeah, she has the Canadian referees. She's not really offered it, but she just doesn't want to step on the Canadian refs' toes by bringing in anybody from the U.S.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Not a concern other promoters in
but
Manitoba have.
who's gonna be the announcer for that though? Do you know yet? Because if Uncle
For Magpie?
John, yeah, if Uncle
No
John's
idea.
polling that day, I don't know who's the announcer for that.
I have not heard at all.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah. I mean, so there. I saw that flyer. It's been seeing it go around, but it still says there's a special guest. Do we know who that special guest is yet?
Well, no. It also says it's got all of our matches on that grid, and then there's a blank space at the top.
Yeah, it says special guest. That's what
Like
I'm
the main
wondering.
event could be um, bigger than the matches that are there.
Oh, see, I didn't even know. I thought it was just one blank spot, like it was a special guest or something.
Well, I know she's friends with Alex Kurdecha. Maybe he's
Hmm.
coming over. Maybe he's going to pull somebody.
Yeah, I mean, who?
I don't know.
I've talked to Alex a couple times. He wanted to come to my events, but has nobody to pull.
He's at that level now where you got to match make carefully,
Hmm.
or he just comes and kills somebody.
Has he pulled Dave Chafee yet? He did, right?
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago. He ended up pulling Dave at East West or something.
Yeah,
But Dave's coming back, right? He has a match at East West.
he does.
Yeah,
It's oh, Frank Lamparelli.
yeah.
So a guy that's really, really hand heavy. It'll be interesting to see how Dave deals with him on this comeback here.
I mean, Dave's had the right amount of time off. I mean, damn, I bet you he's just healthy and strong right now.
If it goes to the strap, which it probably will, I think Dave wins it. If it stays outside and Frank manages to hang on, he's got a good chance
Mm-hmm. That'd
because
be interesting.
he can take the hand and wrist from Dave Chafee outside the strap. Inside the strap, I think it's all Dave.
Yeah, from what I keep on seeing, more and more matches being put on this card. I think there's a lot of matches in Orlando that weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be a long pay per view.
Yeah.
And I won't complain about it because Ingen got real upset when somebody said it was too long last time.
Yeah, I mean, can arm wrestling ever be too long?
Uh,
I'm reffing it. I don't care.
if
I'll
you have if you have a other commitments, it can be too long. But
yeah, tournaments. I'll bitch about it, but for super matches, bring it on. That's fun.
I that's why I will buy the pay per view, and I
Hmm.
will sometimes just fast forward through the in between stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but always watch the matches.
Yep.
Joe Nelson says everyone said it was too long. You know who didn't say it was too long? Engen. He didn't say it was too long. All right, buddy.
All
We should
right.
jump off of here.
Yep. Yeah. Happy birthday. Have a good day.
Thanks, man. Don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my day, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop off and maybe get some work done here.
Me too.
All right.
We'll be back
Well,
next week. Hopefully, the rest of the crew will be back with us. And yeah, we'll chat then. Thanks, everybody.
get up.